Hey you guys, it's Sam and welcome to theme number 11 of the hashtag Disney Drawing Challenge 2017, hosted by myself, Crazy Comic Lady, and Barry Zem. Links, of course, as always, in the description down below. Definitely check them out. And for this theme, it was Zombify Any Character, and the random character generator chose Tarzan, and I was pretty happy with that choice. And no, it is not a trick of the camera, things have not been flipped. I am, in fact, using my left hand. I didn't use my left hand to draw it, but I used my left hand to color it, and if y'all didn't see the last video with Pocahontas and Flynn, first of all, go watch it, and then second of all, my right hand, my wrist specifically, is not well, and I wanted to try and keep up with the themes and the challenge. So I was like, well, of all the themes to use my left hand on, this one was probably the best one. Because it's a zombie. It's supposed to be dirty and messy and ugly, and so that kind of worked to my advantage of coloring with my left hand. And it was, so this is kind of like doubling as a left-hand challenge at this point. So it started off much more difficult than how it ended. I kept wanting to reach with my right hand and just take the brush from it. There are a couple times that I sprinkle in using my right hand, but I think it was like once or twice for just really small things. And basically the entirety of the picture was with my left hand, and of the coloring. And the longer, like, I felt that it got easier if I were to just slow down and not try and finish it so quickly. I think that definitely helped me feel like I could get more control using my left hand, and it felt less stressful, and I noticed my right hand straining less to take the brush away. So if you're going to try the opposite hand challenge, I would recommend starting off slower than you feel like you should go, and just try and really fight through it, because fighting through that and going slow, and then towards the end of this piece, I mean, it still was awkward and uncomfortable and like wrong in my brain, but it was so much better than how I started it. And so just the longer I went on it and the more chance I gave it, the better it got. So there you go. That's my advice if you ever want to try drawing with the other hand. And unless you're ambidextrous, in which case then you can just leave, get out. But yeah, so that was the adventure with this piece, and I don't really know what else to say about it. It was just an interesting way to color it, and it didn't take all that long. I think it took maybe 2 hours. I mean, that's probably longer than I would have taken if I had done it with my right hand, but it's still not too bad. And the drawing time with watercolors is the longest part. So I think it turned out pretty okay. I think it ended up working out. The background, I know I haven't really touched it too much in the piece just yet, but the background, I was thinking, and I actually had sketched in a little bit of something of like trees, and I was thinking of having a more nature background. But as I started adding kind of blurry branches and some greenery, it just didn't feel right to me. So I just added like a bunch of red blotches to kind of be like blood, and I don't really know what the background is now, but there's a background. So that's all that matters. Yay. But for shading the skin, I went for a whole bunch of different colors, and I was trying to look up references of zombies in general. I know it's not a real thing and it's open for interpretation, but I just wanted to see what other artists did and how they interpreted the monster. And so when I started shading it, I was focusing a bit on purples, but then I later ended up switching to green, and then I kind of went back and forth between purples and greens in terms of shadow. And then in terms of just the normal, like, mid-tone / highlight, I don't really have a highlight, really. But in terms of like the mid-tone, I just used like a skinish color, just some light browns, and I think it kind of worked. I wanted him to look sickly, and I think like ignoring the red and the gashes and stuff, I think I got somewhat of an unnatural skin color, and I think, I think I did well, decently on that. So yeah, that was fun, just playing around with different colors. I really try to just not care too much in coloring this piece, aside from the fact that like I'm doing this left-handed, so like how I can only care so much, like this left hand can only do so much. But I also try to push the darks a little bit more, because I was like, okay, this is the piece where everything's off the table. I'm using my left hand. He's a zombie, and whatever, like anything goes kind of thing. So I felt a little bit more freedom in terms of the going dark. I still think, of course, I could have gone even darker, but for what it is, I'm pretty happy with how dark I managed to go. And I think it's definitely a nice little stepping stone of, beating this issue that I have. So just more non-serious pieces, like I'll feel comfortable with going darker. And you can see my attempts at trying to get some sort of nature-y background, and it just, I don't know, it wasn't working. It just really wasn't. And I don't even know what was going on like directly behind him, and like in between the hand and his face, and then under the arm, the one where you can see the entire hand. That would be his right hand. Smart Sam. It just wasn't, I had no idea what I was doing. So I think it worked out for the more abstract-y background. So yeah, there was that. And I think using watercolors as a medium for this theme specifically was kind of fun, because you can have that blotchiness and like lighter and darker areas pretty easily. And I don't know, just this medium worked well with me for this theme. So I'm glad I chose to do watercolors for this. And that also makes it easier because I had to use my left hand. So that worked out perfectly. I don't know how the other themes are going to go. I'm still trying to stay on top of everything. And I'm thinking the next one will be out on time, theme 12. And I'm doing my best to try and make sure they can all be out on time without pushing or hurting myself. I think for the last theme, I might end up trying to do my left hand again for some of it. And I don't know if I can do it with a tablet. That would be interesting to experiment with. That might be for another time, though. I don't know if I want to try and struggle with that when I'm already like, oh, I gotta get this stuff done. So maybe in the future, I'll try and do some sort of left-handed stuff digitally, because I don't think I've ever done that before. I think I've only ever done left-handed stuff traditionally, so that'll be a new fun experience. But yeah, hopefully you guys have been enjoying this challenge, and like I said before, definitely check out all the links in the description to Crazy Comic Lady and Barry Zem's channels. They've been doing so awesome, and definitely check out the hashtag, especially on Instagram. That's where it's most active. Disney Drawing Challenge 2017 to see all the entries. And I say entries, it's not a competition, it's just a challenge. And if you'd like to participate, the theme list is also in the description down below. And yeah, if you'd like your work featured in one of my videos, just send me a message and let me know. And I think I covered pretty much everything. So hopefully you guys like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. So thanks for watching. Bye!